Sarah Villegas hates losing. When she lost to Natalia Coelho, she said people were attacking her on the internet saying she wasn't conditioned. And she said, I'm more conditioned than your favorite bodybuilder. Okay? And Natalia Coelho, she's the sweetest girl. Dr. Natalia Coelho, she's the sweetest girl, but she does not like losing to Sarah. Cassandra Gillis, I call her the Canadian super blonde. She won 2 pro shows. She actually won the Arnold Classic, defeating Angela Borges. And she might be the biggest threat to the Brazilians.
Athletes and fans around the world, welcome to another episode of Primetime Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins, as always joined by this delicious 200-gram festival of protein. What's going on, Derek?
So last week, I said roughly a breast of chicken is 30 grams. And when I said that, Dennis James started having convulsions on that side. Because he goes, how do you know a breast of chicken is 30 grams? And he corrected me. And 100 grams of a breast chicken contains 24 grams of protein. So we are going to educate you guys on also the intake of protein in the future episodes.
I think they might actually know this already, but let's go over to the guy who actually measured his food, Dennis James.
Thank you guys, Tarek and Tim, for having me back. That confirms that I am qualified to be here sometimes, so and I really appreciate it.
It's a low bar, but you got way over it. It is great to have you back. You class up the joint, and you're teaching us a lot about nutrition along the way.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of rivalries across the various divisions, and one of the rivalries is by right now in women's physique by the reigning champ, Sarah Villegas, and the one who has been nipping at her heels and took that championship away 1 year, Dr. Natalia Coelho.
Yeah, they hate each other, They do hate each other, I know it. If they deny it, they're lying. But they won't deny it. They don't like each other. We had a round table a few years back where it was quite contentious. Sarah Villegas said, you are having people attack me on the internet. And Natalia said, no, you're the one doing that. And now you're trying to falsely accuse me. They did have a workout, which was nice. They kept it professional. But the bottom line is there's some animosity between them. And I can see why, because they're great competitors. Sarah Villegas hates losing. When she lost to Natalia Coelho, she said people were attacking her on the internet saying she wasn't conditioned. And she said, I'm more conditioned than your favorite bodybuilder. Okay? And Natalia Coelho, she's the sweetest girl. Dr. Natalia Coelho, she's the sweetest girl, but she does not like losing to Sarah. We'll see what happens, but it's very close. In the latest showings, Sarah has prevailed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not no secret that I am a good friend of Natalia Coelho, and of course, I was very happy when she won the Olympia 2 years ago. And having said that, I mean, Sarah is a fierce competitor. And I don't think they hate each other. I think it's just they know they're each other's enemies when it comes to competing on stage. And they know, Natalia knows she's the champ. The champ knows she's the one that's right behind her, breathing down her neck. And they know it can go either way any day. So for that, I think they make each other better, both of them. And I think this is a healthy rivalry. I don't think there's any issues.
Was it you that had to moderate that sit down?
Yes.
I recused myself. Natalia, I've known her since she was a teenager. She's like one of my kids. I'm glad to be a resource. Sarah was not happy with me the year Natalia won. I was very teary-eyed on the broadcast, on the pay-per-view, because she's family to us.
Yeah.
That said, I love the rivalry. I love these two pushing each other to new limits. I've told you, it's a difficult spot. It's one of those crazy divisions where you can't be too big, too small, too conditioned, not conditioned enough. It's so hard to strike that perfect balance and to go to Sandy or Becky or whoever the head judge was after and say, what did I not do? And have them give you guidance for the next year. You have a whole year and hope that guidance still sticks.
Yeah. For me, it's like I'm biased And as a biased friend, it's hard to look at the other competitor and, and see them winning, see them beating your friend. But I have to be honest, I've been in this sport a long time. And when I look at Sarah, I see why she is the champ. So it's not like I can't understand it. I see why she's the champ.
When it's your friend a lot of times and you're at an NPC show, you look at the pictures after, you go, I don't see that, dude. You smoked that guy. When you look at the two pictures, you go, oh, it's tight, but I see it.
Yeah, I see it.
All due respect to the champ.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah, she's the top competitor in that category. And I tell Natalia the same thing every time. You're still young. Don't rush it. You'll get it back.
Well, as a judge, we are friends with everybody, but we cannot have any bias. And here's the big difference between them, especially from the front. Sarah Villegas has better quads than Natalia Coelho. Look at this picture right here. This is a dramatic difference between the quads, right? You might even say that Natalia Coelho might have a smaller waist than Sarah Villegas. But because Sarah has these beautiful flaring quads, it gives her a nice X shape. When did Natalia beat Sarah Villegas? When she won the New York Pro and she had bigger legs. She duplicated that, showed up at the Olympia with bigger legs, and she was able to get Sarah Villegas. Sarah Villegas was a bit flat, and Natalia Coelho had the legs. Now, going back to the 2025 Pittsburgh, I was talking to Tyler, I was talking to Steve and Sandy, and that was Natalia Coelho's best physique to date, even better than when she won the Olympia. If Natalia Coelho brings that Pittsburgh look to the Mr. Olympia, this girl needs to bring her best. Otherwise, she might lose her title.
I totally agree. In Pittsburgh, she came in, the waist looked even smaller because she had the biggest flare on her quads. We don't even have to speak about her lats because Natalia's lats is out of this world. And I think that package will be very, very hard to beat. So we got to see what Sarah is bringing to the Olympia this year. But she needs to be at her best in order to beat the Natalia from Pittsburgh.
And if you look at it right here, the positioning of the quads, if you look at the legs, I'm not quite sure. Dennis, you are the expert on that. It looks like Sarah Villegas not only has great quads, but she's turning her feet out a little bit more. Is that something that Natalia can do over here?
I actually like the way she stands. I like to have one leg out a little bit. But that's a matter of opinion. You said before you don't like Nick Walker's doing that. So, if you like it on Sarah, I prefer it this way. So, to answer your question, I don't know.
Now, to that back pose, Tarek, you look at Sarah, and when she says she's more conditioned than your average bodybuilder, that's the pose right there that drives that point home. That separation in the glutes, the ham tie-ins, the sweep of the quads, the hams, and then just follows right up into the low mid-back, spreads up into the deltoids, rhomboids, and every other, the altoids. Every other toid you can find is just perfectly defined back there.
There's dudes on the first call out of the Olympia that don't have this conditioning.
Absolutely true.
As crazy as it sounds, there's guys on the first call out of the Olympia don't present this separation on the glutes, lines on the hamstrings, and everything. What I want to mention to you guys is this. Because Natalia is posing on the back, very similar to Sarah, the feet appears to be out. Look at the calves. They're pointing that way. That means the feet are out. The calves are pointing this way. The feet are out. Now her quads are coming out. It's not a dramatic difference between them here. Pittsburgh Natalia, Mr. Olympia Sarah. I think Natalia Coelho has to look at these pictures and say, hold on. If she got me on the legs, but now I got fuller legs, and now I'm pointing my toes to the outside, and it's not showing this dramatic difference, maybe that's the way to go.
I think just time. It was just all a matter of time. Like I said, she's young, and she's a veteran. She's been there for many years, but she's still young, and she gets better every year. So she's not only got a doctor title, let's see if she can get that Miss Olympia title back. Well, I'm sorry, Tim. It's going to be a dogfight because I think Sarah knows. She knows. She's seen Natalia in Pittsburgh. She knows what's coming, and I think she's going to be on an A game. And I think we're going to see two girls at their absolute best, and we let guys like you and the judges decide.
Well, there's the old adage: you have to beat the champ. I think you have to beat Sarah because she's not going to slip. She's not someone who's going to show up 70 or 80%. She's going to show up 100, and you got to beat her.
Yeah, it's true. But like I said, she is a younger girl. She has more room to improve, I think. I think that Sarah is pretty consistent with her looks. The year she lost, she was not in the same condition as the year before and the year after. But Natalia is someone who can get better, and she got better. She was better in Pittsburgh, and I think she will be better at the Olympics.
But Dennis, you're saying she's still young. She's still young. She already beat Sarah 1 year.
Yeah.
So she was even younger back then. Is age a defining factor here?
Could be, yes, absolutely. I believe the younger competitor has more room to improve. You know, once you get to a certain age, you fighting to bring that same look back. And then the younger competitor is fighting to get better.
All right, when we come back on Primetime Muscle, Jessica Reyes-Padilla and Lola Montez and their brewing rivalry as well. And who's going to claim that top spot this year? Sydney Gillen is out. That title is wide open. We'll talk about that when we come back. All right, at the last Olympia, the reigning champ, Sydney Gillen, stepped down, vacating the championship spot, which opens up some rivalry. One of the biggest rivalries last few years is between second and third place, Jessica Reyes-Padilla and Lola Montez. Tarek?
Yes, Jessica has been more consistent. She's placed second many times to Sydney Gillen. Lola Montez has come in third. The feedback to Lola was you need to downsize a little bit. Your calves, have you seen her calves?
Yes.
I mean, if Chris Cormier and Flex Wheeler had those calves, they would have won the Olympia. She has incredible calves. Her legs might get a little bit bigger, and she can gain muscle. But she has downsized. She looked more figure-like. And in Pittsburgh, she impressed the hell out of people. She was, with Natalia, the two best competitors on stage that day. If she shows up with that physique at the Olympia, Jessica might not be able to hold her.
Yeah, I mean, Lola she's dangerous. She's really dangerous. But I think Jessica she's been there for so long. I think it's her time. I think she will go out with the Masters Olympia title and the Olympia title all in 1 year. I feel it in the air. It's her time. And as great as Lola is, I think she's just too consistent, and she's going to sit there. She's going to come to the Olympia and nail it and take home the title one time.
You know why I love that? It's never been done.
Right?
Never been done to have a Masters Olympia and an Olympia champion the same year. All right. There she is. I think she won last year, did she? Or 2 years ago, did she not?
The Masters, yes.
Yes. All right, Tarek, break us down.
So here's the deal. In terms of conditioning, Jessica Reyes-Padilla has been better than Lola Montez. She's been on point. Sometimes we talk about conditioning. It's not because somebody has not been conditioned. Sometimes they're too hard. And that's something that happened to Natalia Coelho when she was in figure. She was too hard. We had cross striations on the figure. We said, hey, you want to get this lean, you got to go to another category. Same thing happened with Lola Montez. few years back, she was too hard. So she has been on point with the conditioning. Who's better genetically? This one. Lola Montez has better genetics than Jessica Reyes Padilla. What was Jessica Reyes Padilla's flaw? I told her, and many judges told her, that sometimes her shoulders might be overpowering. She contained that development, and she looked her best last year. Her flaw was the legs, the calves. She tended to be a little bit too muscular. She contained that, and she's better. We're looking at a total brawl at the Olympia. The problem for Jessica Reyes Padilla is this. From the back in Pittsburgh, Lola Montez looked just about perfect. Look at that, Dennis. That's like Sidney Gillen type of back, symmetry. Everything is perfect.
There I see what you just mentioned, the genetics. She has that super tiny waist. She has a flaring lats. I mean, she has it all. Like I said, I mean, don't get me wrong. I just think it's Jessica's time, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lola comes in and takes the title. You know, so it's and the calves. I mentioned those calves in the live stream in Pittsburgh, and I kept saying it. I said, look at them calves. I mean, they look like they're unreal.
They're perfect. All right, guys. The V shape is one thing. The taper up into the really defined areas that are just the minutia that are the art of the sport, from the triceps into the rear delts, across to the rhomboids, mid back. It's all so beautiful, and it's all there. It's all where it needs to be for this division.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And again, look at those calves.
And look at those
Now,
calves.
if you guys look at Jessica Reyes Padilla's back pose, right? She might not have the separation that Lola Montez has, but it's pretty wide. But if you look at her back, one of the first things you notice is the shoulders. And that is an issue in bodybuilding, right? When you have a body part that might be too prominent on the pose, that it takes your eyes away. When a judge sits down right there at the judging panel, the first thing we look at is imbalances. That's the first thing we look at it. We look at you coming on stage and we go, is something off on this competitor? Does he have too big of a shoulders? Are the legs smaller to his frame? In this case, they're both balanced, but on the back pose here, I would look at Jessica and my eyes would be drawn to those shoulders. That's not a good sign. My eyes should be on the overall package as perfection. And in this case here, I'll go with Lola Montez. But on this case here, if she reduces just a little bit the shoulders, Jessica is very good from the sides and from the front.
And this is easy to do. She could reduce the shoulder, the cap, just by posing it differently, because she's trying to cap them shoulders right now. And if she understands, she can just change the way she stands, and she can bring the shoulders in just a little bit.
So, correct me if I'm wrong here. When we're coming up and we're trying to get our lats to flare, and she's bringing the delts up and getting the traps all flexed out, she could do the same thing by going out and around with the elbows and flaring the lats without bringing them up.
It's easy. It's just easy to fix that problem by not don't do no side lateral with your arms. Just open your lats and relax your arms, and your shoulders will not cap as much as you see right there.
All right, that solves the problem right there. Well, it's going to be an interesting rivalry. Now, there's a couple other X factors as we come into the rivalry between these two with that vacated spot. Natalia Soltero, who's always in that top 3 or 4, it's going to be interesting to see how she conditions. She came in upsized last Olympia. And Missy Trescott.
I'm going to tell you this. I love Missy. She's coming from fitness to figure. I would also tell her to contain the shoulders, because on her posing round in fitness, those shoulders were too prominent. She still won the posing round convincingly over there with the fitness girls, but the fitness girls are not as good in figure as the figure girls. So I'm going to be very, very categorically here about what I think. And obviously, we're speculating. Anything can happen. So far, based on what we've seen, this is a brawl between Lola Montez and Jessica Reyes Padilla. I think there's a gap. And that gap creates the distance between these two, Natalia Soltero, Missy Truscott, and some of the Germans, Jennifer Zinnert, Lena
Ramsteiner.
There's the new one, Denise. I still feel there's a gap. I think these two are the favorites. Once again, it's the Olympia. Anything can happen. But I think these are the top dogs.
Yeah, especially after Lola just won Pittsburgh with the way she looked. And I think that puts her on the map right next to Jessica. That will be a two-woman show for this year's Olympiad.
What is magical? Because it seems to be the thing across all divisions. Pittsburgh brings out the best early in the year.
I mean, it was the first time. Everybody wanted to be a part. The prize money was good. It's the boss's show. Everybody wants to support.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to be an even bigger show next year. So don't be surprised if you see almost all of them compete at the Pittsburgh Pro next year.
Well, and I love that because we want everybody to compete more for the fans. But I think you're right. Getting out in front of the boss and all the judges, the best judges and the best eyes, early in the year say, hey, this is what I'm bringing to the Olympia. Qualify me now and I'll bring this.
Right.
I think that's an added bit of excitement. The Pittsburgh has really come on.
Yeah, and it was a great event. I mean, they put a lot of work in there. There was an expo. And like I said, I did the live broadcast. We had the best seats in the house, and I'm looking forward to next year.
I agree with Dennis. Everybody wants to look good in front of Jim Mannion. That's the bottom line. Lola Montez, she's qualified for the Olympia, right? She goes to Pittsburgh. She looks great in front of Jim Mannion. Who's sitting there? Tyler's sitting there. Steve Weinberg, Sandy, Jack, Bill, myself, all the judges that are going to be at the Olympia are sitting there. So it's not enough for her to qualify to the Olympia. She wants to come in Pittsburgh, make a statement. Who else made a statement? Natalia Coelho, right? And who else? Who's watching? Jessica was there watching. Mm-hmm. She was uncomfortable. I could see her uncomfortable when Lola came on stage. Sarah had to give the award to Natalia. Yep. She probably got in her room right next to her husband and say, we better go work out. These girls made a statement. I'm proud of them.
I love it. All right, we have one more rivalry in wellness that is heating up big time. Tarek, you foretold this last year going into the Olympia. When we come back, we're going to be talking about those two. We'll stay right here. And we're back, and we're talking wellness. Tarek, not only were you foretelling this rivalry, but you're one of the people, we don't need to hear the story because I trust you. You were instrumental in bringing this division to America, to the world, to the IFBB Pro League. And here it is, and it's growing and growing and growing. Women's wellness.
So I'll tell you the story. You said I didn't have to tell the story,
But
right?
you're going to tell it.
Oh, now I feel
No.
took the air out of my sail.
No, tell it. We've never heard it before.
No. Let's go to let's talk about the competitors. I said, here's the deal. We had pictures of Eduarda Bezerra, but JM said, Tarek, take a look at this video. She was competing in Colombia, and he goes, this girl is going to be on the Olympia stage this year. I said, JM, you're exaggerating. I don't think anybody can be that good that they're going to be at the Olympia right after they turn pro. They got to be out of their mind. He showed me a picture, and I was like, oh, my God. Eduarda Bezerra is the fastest rising star in the last 10 years. Chris Bumstead, his first show, he lost to Daryl Charles and Terrence Ruffin in Miami. People don't know that. His rise was not that fast. He lost to Brian, right? Derek Lunsford, he won the 212, but prior to that, he took second to Flex. He ended up fourth. The fastest rising star in the IFBB Pro League is this girl. Her name is Eduarda Bezerra. She's from North Brazil, in her first Olympia, she placed third. Then she went to the Arnold and she won the show against who? Isa Pereira. Not even Flex Wheeler, 1993, did that. Flex took second at the Olympia. He went to the Arnold. He won that, but he didn't beat Dorian Yates. She beat Dorian Yates. She beat Isa Pereira, who's the current champion at the Olympia. This girl was an amateur about 24 months ago, and now she might win the Olympia.
Yeah, if it's up to me, she'd win everything.
Well, this is the crazy thing. One of my favorite things is I've always loved the press conference. But when they started adding other divisions, there wasn't enough trash talk or rivalry. Or she came out last year. Were you the one that kind of lobbied to get her on the press conference?
Absolutely. Her English was not coming up, and she did a good job.
She did a great job, and she brought some heat. And
I'll tell you this, the trash talking in wellness started with Angela Borges and Franciele Matos. Angela Borges used to win every show in Brazil. And on a group text message, Franciele Matos, who had taken second to her, wrote, "It's okay, next time we'll win." And Angela Borges responded, "Maybe not." So the animosity between wellness competitors started then. Angela Borges comes, turns pro. Franciele comes, turns pro. They go into the Olympia, and Franciele finally beats her, right? This animosity between Franciele Matos and Isa Pereira was real in the last press conference.
Oh, yeah.
Isa Pereira said, "You're the past, I'm the present." Little did she know that this girl here saying, "No, maybe you're the past and I'm the present," because that's what she did at the Arnold. What does she have that is so great? Eduarda Bezerra. She is genetically gifted, just like Lola Montez has the gift of the genetics. She has that small, tiny little waist with large hips. This is great genetics in women's, right? Wellness. In bikini, you got a tiny waist with large hips. If you have a square waist with hips that don't come round, you don't have good genetics.
Well, Dennis, this is one of my favorite things about this part of the sport, that front pose. When they're a developed champion and you can see a glute from the front, I can't think of any other division, top to bottom, from open down, where you can hit a front pose and see glute. That's impressive.
Very impressive. And yeah, I don't even know what to say. I'm trying to stay professional here. And yes, I prefer the back pose, to be honest, because, you know, what we see from the front, we want to see from the rear. And you see, which one is this here?
That's
Eduarda Bezerra.
So this is the one that just won the Arnold.
Yeah.
Yes. You can see the difference. That's a different woman, right?
Yeah.
The difference of glutes here on top. She's got them full round glutes, not only on the bottom, like here on the top. Do you see that? I'm not the only one that sees
No, we're with you.
glutes.
We're all seeing that.
And I'm a glute man. Let's
Yeah.
put it this way. I'm not an expert. I'm expert in bodybuilding, so I don't know much about the females when it comes to wellness. I can only tell you what I like. And this is what I like right there.
So let's talk Eduarda Bezerra now going into the mix. And there was that battle back and forth between Franciele Matos and Isa Pereira. So which was some 1-point decisions. So now if Eduarda has beaten her, that says she is absolutely in the mix to win this year.
Well, Isa Pereira took many second places to Franciele Matos, and eventually she took her down. What she thought in her mind was, this is perfect. I fought so hard, I beat Franciele, I hate that witch, now that witch is going to retire, and I'm going to be on top for the rest of my life. Well, maybe Franciele said, excuse me? You think I'm retired? And maybe she'll come back to this Olympia and she'll tell her, you're the witch that couldn't even hang on to your Arnold Classic because the new girl beat you. I speculate that maybe Franciele Matos is retired, okay? I'm speculating here, Dennis James. But I'm also saying this. Eduarda Bezerra at the Arnold looked so impressive that nobody would be surprised if she is the new queen.
I think they're all so close to each other, though, it can go either way. What we can say with certainty is that the wellness category is dominated by the Brazilians.
Yes, and there's some great champions, but I'm going to mention one name here. I was the judge in Vancouver and in Las Vegas, and one competitor from Canada defeated many Brazilians. Her name is Cassandra Gillis. I call her the Canadian Super Blonde. She won 2 pro shows. She actually won the Arnold Classic, defeating Angela Borges. And she might be the biggest threat to the Brazilians, but I agree with Dennis the Menace James that the Brazilians are very dominant.
Yeah. At this moment, I don't see a lot of non-Brazilians, being a factor at the Olympia. Arnold, yes, maybe. I mean, there's girls. I like girls like, she's a little shorter, from Germany, Lisa
Meinskow.
Lisa Maiswinkel. Get it right. Lisa Maiswinkel. And she's just a little shorter girl, And I remember at the Arnold where she competed, I told her, if you was this much taller, you'd be winning these shows. So, there's plenty of talent out there, but right now it's dominated by the Brazilians, and we'll have to see who steps up.
Well, it is going to be interesting this year who makes it there. Who just about 6 to 8 weeks ago won Legions that did such a great job?
At the Legion Sports Festival,
Yes.
the wellness champion was Camille Luz.
Nice.
She was impressive. She turned pro with me in Romania. She went on to go to the Olympia, winning a show in Europe, but she didn't do that well in her first Olympia. This showing in Legion in Reno was very impressive, and I think she can be on the mix. Now, a lot of people, they mix in their mind the amount of protein they're taking. They look at a breast of chicken and they think they're taking 30 grams, they think they're taking 40 grams or 50 grams. The bottom line is 100 grams of chicken contains 24 grams of protein. You want to be precise about the amount of protein you intake. In each serving of Pro Zero, you have 25 grams of protein that has 0 fat, 0 sugar, and 0 cholesterol. For all the info and to order right now, I want you to go to www.globalformulas.com. Back to you, Tim Wilkins.
Well, Tarek, not only is that a super clean protein and formulated to be so pure with 0 lactose, 0 milk protein, 0 fat, 0 sugars, you know where that's come from. You don't know your chickens. They could be, from the streets. They could be, you don't know where they've eaten, where they've been. They could be dirty chickens.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out there.
Some tiny chickens.
Tiny chickens with
tiny little breasts.
Yeah.
Dennis, a cup of rice has how many carbs?
I don't know how much rice you're going to put in that cup.
I would stuff as much as possible.
Well, Dennis, I'm also going to bring up, and this is a shameless plug for my co-host. You have a ton of shows. If you're looking to switch up judges at any point, or if you want to add a little fresh blood, I was so impressed. We did Legion Sports Festival together. I was so impressed with Tarek as a head judge. The way you orchestrated the show, the way you interacted with the athletes, the way you ran the show, and the way everything was judged, of course, which is the most important part. But it was incredibly impressive to watch you work.
I'm glad you brought that up, Tim. Talking about Tarek El Gundy as a head judge. I have a show here in Arizona for many years now, and I finally wanted to switch it up. So, of course, I would like, I'll try to confirm with Tarek first before I request him to have him as my head judge. Because I said, Tarek, I want you to be my head judge. Tarek gave me an okay.
Okay.
Yes, I'd love to do the show.
There we go.
Awesome.
Until he behind the door changed his mind
Oh.
and told me that he can't do it because he has to be with his family. So I heard he's a great head judge, but I can't vouch for him.
That's unfortunate.
So it is unfortunate because I've been judging shows in Arizona for a long time. We even have done the USAs here, and everybody in Arizona mentions the Dennis James Classic. Every time I talk to anybody, they go, I'm doing Dennis James. So unfortunately...
The classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dennis James Classic. Unfortunately, I missed it, but next year I'm making a commitment here. Next year, there's no other way. I will be the head judge of the Dennis James Classic in Arizona. In regards to judging, I wouldn't want to do anything else. I wouldn't want to be a competitor. I wouldn't want to be Mr. Olympia. I wouldn't want to be on anything else. I love judging bodybuilding shows. I love being there for the competitors. I love giving feedback. I love keeping the momentum. I'm privileged. President Jim Mannion has trusted me for a long time to judge shows, and I'm in the best place of my life when I'm at the judging panel helping competitors.
Well, you did a great job. And folks, speaking of feedback, give us your feedback on these great rivalries. Sarah Villegas and Dr. Natalia Coelho, Jessica Reyes-Padilla, Lola Montez, and of course, Isa Pereira and Eduardo Becerra. Like, subscribe, share this show with your friends. We love to build this audience of people that are like-minded, that love the sport as much as we do. My name's Tim Wilkins, joined this week by the icon on the set, Dennis James.
Thank you, guys. Again, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
And the judge to have, Tara Kilgindi.
Thank you so much. An honor to be here with Dennis James.
And we thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the next Primetime Muscle.